R.I. Presents.
Sea People Mountain People Chapter 2 Encounter with Mythology. Chapter 2 Final, Expanded Version. Previous overview. When their whereabouts became known to the Wajin, Tokapcup and her companions fled further north. There, I heard about the existence of a large Kotan from people I met by chance, and I found hope. When we learned of the existence of the Kotan, we rested for a short time on the spot, and although we were exhausted, we started walking towards it again. It was a little far from the Kotan we were aiming for, and everyone was walking with heavy steps, but when we saw the Kotan, everyone cheered and rejoiced. We finally arrived at our destination. When we entered the Kotan, a somewhat surprising sight jumped into our eyes. Among the Ainu people, there were people with obviously different appearances. There aren't that many of them, but no matter how I look at them, they look like Wajin. Moreover, they do not seem to be visitors but to live together. Is there a coexistence and co-prosperity between the two here? Of course, I know that not all Wajin are bad. I know that prejudice can lead to misjudgment, but what I've seen so far is burned into my head, and I can't help but have a biased view. Tokapcup also seemed a little surprised, and she hurriedly hid behind the man. But this is a land far away from Kotan. They don't know us. We reacted quickly out of wariness, but they didn't care about us at all and were tending to some tools, so we looked at each other and waked past them. As we continued to the center of the Kotan, there was a slightly oddly shaped observation deck, in front of which we called out to a man passing by. When we asked him where the representative's house was, he tilted his head slightly, then said, "That's the house of the elder," and pointed to a slightly larger house. When we went to the house, we saw an old lady sitting in front of the house, and when we got closer, she noticed us and smiled kindly. Grandma greeted us by saying, "R.I.PRESENTS," and beckoned us to enter the house. There was a gray-haired grandpa in the house, and when we exchanged greetings, he motioned for us to sit down. This person seems to be an elder. When we told them what had happened, the elder urged us to rest here for a while, and told us that there was a place on the mountain where the Ainu lived, and that we could live there in peace. After that, we were led to an empty house by grandmother, where we were finally able to take a break. It's been a long time since I've been able to rest in a room with a roof. We spent 3 days there, and on the morning of the fourth day, after thanking the elder couple and heading to Kotan on the mountain, where we had been taught, we camped on the way to Kotan and arrived on the second day. When we told the Kotan people that we had come to see them through an elder's introduction, they graciously accepted and offered us a place to live. From that day on, our new life began. There were a lot of animals there, especially the deer, which were walking around in the Kotan normally and seemed to be used to people. Yakakima also seemed to like the land, and went into the nearby mountains to tell Tokapcup about it. She seemed to like the mountain and often went to the top of the mountain to admire the view, but she seemed a little lonely. One day, while we were in peace for a while, the first snow fell on a cold evening, and at the same time news disturbed the peace. It was a message from the elder that people had come to him looking for Tokapcup. And the elders have urged us to be careful. When a group of men heard the news, they gathered around Tokapcup, but her reaction was calm and surprised everyone with her unexpected words. I don't run away. I don't want to bother anyone anymore, so I'll talk to them once. This was her intention. No one refuted. That's how strong her words were, and her determination was conveyed to everyone. All we have to do is wait for that time. The days that followed passed quietly, and it became Tokapcup's daily routine to climb a nearby mountain with Yakakima and admire the scenery from the top. She especially liked to stand in front of a large rock just down from the summit, where she would lean against it to look at the scenery and look in the mirror. Finally, the day came. As usual, she was at the top of the mountain looking at the scenery when she heard a voice calling her from below, but she immediately sensed something unusual from the change in the voice calling her, and she looked up at the sky and saw the sun. The sunlight was dazzling, and the scene in front of me turned completely white. However, when my eyes became accustomed to the white, I saw not the white of the sun, but the white of the ceiling of the hospital room. My name is is Tuka Hoshizaki. I am 19 years old and attending a university in Tokyo. I was an ordinary girl with a history buff. The reason why it is in the past tense is that after the Great East Japan earthquake, my view of history and life has changed. After the earthquake, I went on a trip with 3 friends to support the reconstruction of Tohoku. I enjoyed sightseeing in Toshogu and Sendai, but I lost consciousness at Chusen Temple in Hiraizumi. I remember seeing the mural in that room and feeling dizzy, but I don't remember from there until I woke up in the hospital room. To be precise, I remember the dream I had during that time, but I can't remember what happened just before I lost consciousness. What caused me to lose consciousness? What is the meaning of my dream? Dreams and reality don't match. The events in the dream may have been months, or even close to 6 months. Is that really my dream? Or imagining? Or is it a thing of the past? I don't know the answer no matter how I think about it. But I'm really curious. What happened to that person I met in my dream? There is no answer. Tokapcup. Chapter 2 is over. Thank you for watching. Please continue to enjoy the side story, updated every Saturday. If you like, please subscribe to the channel.